Hello everybody, this is a short presentation by me just on what you should be doing over the next few weeks just to start preparing for the next steps. I know this is a really difficult situation, being at home, trying to work on Teams, trying to keep up with your deadlines and learn on your own remotely. We've never experienced this before. And ordinarily, if you were in school with us, in a few weeks' time, probably not quite now, but in a few weeks' time, we would just be starting to look at the UCAS process and start to do some presentations and some guidance workshops on how to make the most of the application process for whatever it is you want to do next year. So we're going to start a little bit early, and this is the first of a number of presentations I'm going to do for you on YouTube, just teaching you what you can be doing now and how to begin the process. So this presentation is aimed at everybody. It's aimed at students who are applying to go to university, which will be the majority of you, usually about 80% of you. And there's actually more for you to do right now. So if you're one of those students who wants to go to university, actually this is a prime time for you to get started. The sort of 15-20% of you that will normally go for apprenticeships, the prime time for that is October and November, when the majority of those apprenticeships start. So there are lots of things apprenticeship seekers can do in the meantime. This presentation will cater for you as well, as will future sessions. The UCAS actual application opens on the 19th of May. So you can't do anything for a university application until the 19th of May, when your round of applications opens, and they don't close until January 2021. There is a lot of time, but while we are not at school, this really is the best possible time to start making a start on those applications when they do open, and there'll be sessions in the next few weeks on what UCAS looks like, how to sign up, and what you need to do. In 12 months' time, you will be leaving us, and it is quite amazing to think that. But this time next year, at the end of April, beginning of May, you will be leaving us. You will be doing your leavers assemblies with your tutors. You'll be about to start on study leave, and your exams will be starting within a couple of weeks, usually about mid-May of the first exams. So almost all of you by this time next year, aside from leaving us, almost all of you will know what your choice of destination is. If you apply for university, you will know exactly what your first and second choice is. Your actual final choices have to be made at the beginning of May, so this time next week, in a year's time. For those who are seeking apprenticeships, some of you may not quite have a final decision on some of the ones you've applied for yet, but most of you will know pretty much where you're going. Okay, almost all of you. And the trick is to get to know where you want to go now. For some of you, you already know what you want to do. You knew before you joined NUAST. For some of you, you joined NUAST specifically to do a certain kind of job or role. But for most of you, many of you, it's a process of reflection and self-discovery. Some of you, I know, have no idea what you want to do, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with you that you don't know what you want to do. Some of the most interesting students are the ones that don't know what they want to do. I've had students who've gone on to Oxford and Cambridge who still didn't know what they wanted to do, really, coming up to October time. So it's okay if you don't, but now is the time when we are at home and we've got a lot of thinking time to spend time working out what it is and put the hours and the research time into doing that. So if you are one of those lucky people who know where you want to go next, great. Okay, that's fantastic for you. So if it's a specific university and course that you want to do, then first of all, make sure that course still exists. And that sounds odd, but we have had that happen before. We've had it happen this year, where a student has been adamant for a long time that there's a certain course at a certain university they want to go for. They know exactly what the requirements of it are and everything. But when it comes to actually applying for it, they didn't realise the course had actually been pulled by the university for that year and no longer existed. Students who have done their research a long time before, you do still need to make sure those courses exist. It's rare, but it does happen. Another thing to make sure of is that you've researched the full requirements of the course, and this is important. Okay, you need to know exactly what grades that course requires you to get at A level and what grades in what. So if you're going for a physics course, for instance, they are likely to want physics and maths. Many engineering courses are likely to want physics and maths. Chemical engineering, actually their requirement generally isn't for chemistry, it's for maths. And they may well require a specific grade in that special subject. So make sure you are aware of the full requirements of the course. Are there any GCSE requirements? It's rare, but certainly for Oxbridge there are. The other thing is if they are offering a range of grades that they accept, be very careful around that. So if a course says that students are accepted between AAA and ABB, what you don't want to do is think, right, I only need to get ABB for this course. It's AAA to ABB. I just need to scrape through ABB and I'll be all right. That's not really the case. That's quite a broad range, AAA to ABB. You've got to assume the majority of those students may well be at the higher end of that range, and it may not be that they have places on the course for students who are just scraping the bare minimum. Okay, I'm not saying don't apply for courses like that. If you can make those grades, do so and be ambitious, but don't put every bit of heart and soul and hope into a course where actually some of the requirements are higher. Keep an eye on what universities are doing for open days. Now, most universities at the moment are still planning on doing ordinary open days, at least in terms of their calendar. So I was researching today universities, and the majority have got their open days in June and July as normal. Open days usually are June, July, September, October, and you usually get some last ones in November. And most universities seem to be holding to that calendar. But obviously things are different. We'll have social distancing, and it might be that some universities change their plans and scrap open days altogether and go with things like virtual tours instead. Open days are fantastic if they are able to run. You get to meet the admissions tutors, they remember you, and in many universities there is favour shown to students who have gone to the open day and talked to them and have shown that level of commitment, and they do keep a record of who has gone and compare it with who's applied. So if open days are on, then you really should go, and there will be a session on how to make the most of open days in the future. But keep your eye on the website of the university you want to apply for. And make sure you know everything there is to know about your chosen university. Where do the students live? Okay, maybe you're in the halls in the first year, but after that, where do students live? What are the student areas like that they live in? What are the rents like? Are they affordable? Are they good value in comparison to other cities and other universities? What bursaries and scholarships are available that you might qualify for? Make sure you know everything. If you know what course you want, roughly, but not the university, the key thing is use Unifrog. Yeah, Unifrog is the most important thing you are going to use, and I want every one of you to become familiar with it. So use it to look at different variations of your chosen course. For instance, my subject, history, also exists as ancient history, modern history, classics, archaeology, history and politics, history and philosophy. I could get a list of 20 or 30 different subjects that are related to history that actually I might like better than just ordinary history. type your chosen subject into Unifrog and then have a look at the subjects you may like part of it. Use Unifrog to make a list of 10 or 15 universities that the places have an appeal to you and which do your chosen course. And then, really importantly, on that list of 10 or 15 potential universities, go on their website, go on the course, and look at the module outline for your chosen course. Now, the module outline will tell you the different modules and units you can do over the 3 years. Okay, vet them, make a list of them, because you want to make sure you're choosing a university and course where the content over the 3 years is going to interest you and meet your career needs. So make sure you go into that forensic detail on the modules. Don't just say, I want to go to Sheffield, I want to do biosciences. Great, they do it, sorted. Look at what the course entails. And if you have no idea, that's okay. That's okay. So, is it uni or apprenticeship? You can apply for both. The UCAS deadline is in January, and apprenticeships are open all the way through the year from October through to the summer. So, a lot of students will apply for UCAS as a backup, so that they've got a university offer and they can hold a university offer, and then they carry on trying to secure their dream apprenticeship. If you get your dream apprenticeship, that's fine. You just decline your university offer when the time comes. If you don't, you've got that university offer in the bag, and you can choose whether you want to take it on results day. It's a very sensible approach, but you use Unifrog for both. So get on Unifrog, type in subjects you like, and spend a lot of time looking at the subjects you might like section that I've just mentioned. Okay, that is what I need you to spend your time exploring if you really don't know what you want to do. It looks like this. So you type in biology and you're going to get a whole list, and this scrolls way, way down. You're going to get a whole list of subjects that are related to biology. Have a good look at all different ones. Don't just dismiss it because of a name. Have a good look, because it may be that you have you find a real passion for something related. So finally, the timelines. Okay, for university, 19th of May is when UCAS opens. Okay, and we will send you instructions on how to register, how to link to the school, and how to fill in that form. On the 1st of September, so by the time we get back in to school from the summer holidays, the UCAS applications can then be submitted. So you cannot actually send an application to university until September, even though you can fill in the form. So that's when they can start being submitted. If you are going for medicine or for Oxford or Cambridge or for veterinary science, then you have an early deadline, which is the 15th of October. And then the 15th of January of 2021 is the final UCAS deadline. So there is time. For apprenticeships, now you can't be applying for things because most apprenticeships that are open now will be starting in September, and you wouldn't have finished your course then. So what you can do is start checking what's out there, and particularly for the big companies, companies like Rolls-Royce, the BBC, Siemens, Boots, have a look at the apprenticeships they've got out there and have a look at their application process. Even though you're not applying for them right now, it's still really useful to look at what the application process is like, what are the applicant days like, what are the tests you have to do. Every single company has its own application system. It's not like UCAS where they all share the same one. Every company that offers an apprenticeship does completely its own thing on its own timeline. They may have one interview, which is rare, or they may have 4 or 5 different stages spread out over months. It is completely up to them. So it's a really good idea to check out what ones are out there for this current year and what is their actual application system, so you're ready for when they put those applications out next year. In the summer, I need you to prepare your CV. Now, many of you have done that already, that Miss Jones has organised. Okay, make sure your CV is up to date. And it's a good idea to do a template for a cover letter, which is a brief introduction letter just to introduce yourself and your application. There's lots online about how to do those. By the end of September, you should be checking Unifrog and the government apprenticeship website weekly for apprenticeships, and that's what you should be definitely be doing by the end of September every week. And then the big companies just start introducing themselves by October. Okay, and that will go through to the summer of 2021. Okay, everybody, I hope that has been helpful. Please listen to the advice I've given, and I'll see you soon.